Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another breakdown. We're going to be breaking on UFC 309. It's taking place next week at MSG. Should be a fun card, even though I know most of us want to see Aspinall versus John Jones. We're probably not going to get that. Never going to get that. I'd like to say never, but you never know. I don't think we're going to get that matchup. I mean, I think we're going to see a double retirement next week from Stipe and John Jones. This should be a fun card. I mean, I know people are hating on this card. People are like, "Oh, this is one of the worst pay-per-views this year." I don't really agree with that. I think it's probably up there, but it's definitely not one of the worst pay-per-views out there. I mean, it's not gonna be as good as UFC 308. I mean, that's for sure. UFC 300, it's gonna be right up in the middle, I feel like. But yeah, let's take a look at this card, man. Obviously, we got John Jones taking on Stipe Miocic, former champion, one of the best heavyweight champions out there, taking on John Jones, who was able to take that belt at 265 against Gall. In the co-main event, I mean, this is my favorite fight on the card. I'm sure it's the same for you guys also. Charles II Bronx Oliveira taking on Michael Chandler in a rematch. The first time they fought each other, Charles Oliveira was able to go out there, find that knockout in the second round. Beautiful KO. He was able to get that belt finally after like 20 fights in UFC. Or he's been in UFC for so long, man, over 10 years now. Now we also have Silva taking on Viviani Araujo. Bro, the UFC keeps giving Viviani these Silva. They gave her Natalia Silva before this one. Now they're giving her another up and comer, absolute beast in Silva, who can wrestle, who can strike on the feet also. Then obviously we got Bo Nickal taking on Paul Craig. Is Paul Craig gonna be able to go out there and like fraud check Bo Nickal? I mean, he's done it so many times. I mean, he's done it to Magomed Ankalaev. He's done it to Nikita Krylov. I mean, he's done it to so many people. He's done it to Jamal Hill. So we're gonna find out if he can do that to Bo Nickal. I mean, because we know Bo Nickal's game plan is probably gonna be wrestle, wrestle, wrestle. But he might change it up on us. I mean, he might go out there and like strike with Paul Craig. I could see him not trying to wrestle Paul Craig because it's not really that easy wrestling Paul Craig. I mean, you can obviously take him down, right? It's not easy. It's not hard taking Paul Craig down because that's where he wants to be at. Because he's so comfortable with his jiu-jitsu off his back. Because he's gonna be attacking triangles, attacking arm bars, like. So that's gonna be an interesting matchup. I mean. Paul Craig is obviously a former light heavyweight. Now he's been fighting at middleweight. He's had mixed results. He's had that win over Diniz, and then since then he's been losing. Then we got Chris Weidman taking on Eric Anders. That should be a fun matchup there. Nikita Krylov finally coming back after like 2 years off. He's going to be taking Asma Murzakanov. I'm excited for this matchup, man. This is going to tell us a lot about Asma Murzakanov. Nikita's I know he's been dealing some injuries, so and as Murzakanov came back after like I think he came back after like some pneumonia. I think he had pneumonia if I'm not mistaken. Because he was supposed to take on Khalil Roundtree. Yeah, he had pneumonia. Then he came back and fought Alonzo Manifield, knocked him out in the second on pretty impressive KO there, if you ask me. Then we got my boy Mauricio Huffy taking on James Llontop. I mean, Mauricio Huffy was supposed to fight someone else here. Charlie Campbell. I think that was going to be actually a better fight than this one, because Charlie Campbell is a pretty good striker, has power on the feet, one of the better strikers over there at Longo and Weidman MMA. Now he's taking on James Llontop, who's taking this fight on short notice. We got Jonathan Martinez taking on Marcus McGhee. This is going to be a fun matchup, man, at bantamweight, because Jonathan Martinez is still ranked in the top 15. He lost his win streak to Jose Aldo. Just kind of froze out there against Jose Aldo. Really didn't win one round out there. Marcus McGhee is trying to make his way to the top 15 because he's 34 years old. His time is now. He's got to go out there and like really put a stamp on this fight. We got Jim Miller taking on Damon Jackson. Mickey Gall taking on Ramiz Brahimaj. Mickey Gall coming off that pretty impressive performance against Basil Hafez. I mean, they're both fighting on this card. They had a pretty good scrap. I mean, it was actually a close fight. He looked really good after coming back after a layoff. We got Open Elliott taking on Basil Hafez. Obviously, David Onama also on this card. Man, I like this card. I mean, the more research I do on this card, I'm actually happy with this card now. I cannot wait for next week. Let's break down this card, guys. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. And Let's get right into it, guys. Obviously, first fight on the card, we got Diniz taking the Martian Tybura at heavyweight. This should be a fun scrap. So I'm sure you guys remember Jonathan Diniz was supposed to fight last week at UFC Edmonton. He was supposed to take on Derek Lewis, the Black Beast Lewis, but Derek Lewis had some injuries or like some illness, and he couldn't make it. I think maybe he had a tough weight cut or something like that. Maybe he was eating too much protein over there and in up here in Canada. I mean, but yeah, now he's taking on Marcin Tybura. Tybura is taking this fight on short notice. So Tybura is actually going to be a tougher test for Diniz, I feel like. You know why? The reason is because he's a better MMA fighter than Derek Lewis. Now, obviously, he's not as dangerous as Derek Lewis, right? Derek Lewis has KO power. He can knock you out. I mean, he can send you to Mars with his knockout power. But Tybura has that grappling race, so that's why this fight is interesting. Because Jonathan Diniz, when guys have tried to take him down, they have been able to take him down. Now, obviously, on the feet, Diniz is going to be the much better, cleaner striker, and Tybura is really not that durable. I mean, but to be fair, I mean, only like recently, I mean, only Tom Aspinall was able to knock him out. Alexander Volkov was able to knock him out, I think. So, and obviously, Spiek was able to submit him. So I don't think Diniz is going to be bringing any submission game to this fight. So Diniz is going to have to keep his standing, and he's going to have to defend some takedowns because I think Tybura is probably going to look to wrestle here. I'm gonna pick Jonathan Diniz. I think he can keep his standing. He's already prepared for. Yeah, he was preparing for Derek Lewis, who's obviously not really a wrestler. Well, he can make some takedowns from time to time. This one's gonna be tricky. I'm not sure if I'll get there. Betting on Diniz, I'm just like the line is like -120, -130. I'm not sure where the betting line's gonna open up at, because I don't think we have betting lines in this fight right now. I'm gonna pick Jonathan Diniz by like I'll pick him by like a knockout, like a second on TKO. But he's gonna have to if he hurts Marcin Tybura, I think Tybura is probably gonna force wrestle. Like he's probably gonna shoot desperate takedowns. If you can get him down, I mean Tybura has submission game. He brings he's also got ground and pound. He can go and try to finish you with ground and pound. I am gonna go with Jonathan Diniz though. I like his striking a lot more. He's cleaner, glory kickboxer. And I think he's gonna be ripping him with leg kicks at range. He's gonna be mixing in body kicks. He's not gonna. He's gonna be staying at distance. I feel like he's gonna keep his distance. He probably is gonna prepare for Tybura, knowing he's gonna look to wrestle. So I'm gonna go Diniz here to get it done by KO TKO. But he better work on that takedown defense, man, because it's gonna be tricky if he can't defend takedowns. Because Tybura has a crazy gas tank, and he can wrestle for 3 rounds, no problem. Next fight on the card, we got Veronica Hardy taking on Eduarda Moura. This is actually gonna be a fun matchup in women's MMA. Eduarda Moura, obviously, she's a strong, very physical girl. She can wrestle, she can mix in takedowns and control you on the mat. Look to get in full mount and rain ground and pound. Is she gonna be able to get a hold of Hardy early? I'm not sure. I think Hardy, even though she's a smaller, when it comes to physicality, she's not as strong as Eduarda Moura, I feel like. But she's the way better striker on the feet. It's like levels ahead of Moura. Moura is really low output on the feet. It's really hittable also. And she doesn't really throw a lot of leg kicks out there. Veronica Hardy's going to be kicking her legs off. I feel like at range, she's going to be moving. She's going to be using her footwork to stay one step ahead in the striking. And obviously her husband, Dan Hardy, is going to have a good game plan for her. I'm going to go with Veronica Hardy. I feel like she can win 2 rounds out of 3 rounds. I don't think she's going to finish Moura. Moura is really tough and durable. If Moura can get takedowns on her and like consistently and control her, that's the way she's going to win, but I don't really see it happening. Veronica Hardy, like, she's going to win the first 2 rounds, I feel like, and Moura's probably going to win the 3rd round. Because Hardy, like, she does slow down later. Like, she's getting controlled by Jamie Lynn Horth in the 3rd round. She's getting controlled by JJ Aldrich in that 3rd round, I feel like. So she does give up takedowns later in the fights once she knows she's ahead on the scorecards. I'm going to pick Hardy by decision. I think she's going to win by decision. Next fight on the card, guys, we got David Onama taking on Lucas Almeida. This should be a fun fight. This should be a really fun fight. I cannot wait to see this one. This is going to be one of the better matchups on the card when it comes to entertainment. David Onama, like a really good striker, has power. He's definitely one of the better, more powerful strikers at featherweight. Maybe other than Danny Ige, Elliott, Tybura. Yeah, there's like a bunch of guys in top. I'm talking about like outside the top 15. Like he's definitely one of the hardest hitters at 145. And he dropped the ball against Nate Train. I think he was like minus 300 against Nate Train. And Nate Train, he was actually beating up Nate Train early. Nate Train's like, just we know how tough Nate Train is. I mean, we've been making money with Nate Train. We recently picked him over Jonathan Pierce. We picked Onama over Jonathan Pierce, obviously, but Jonathan Pierce, man, I don't know why the books have so much respect for Jonathan Pierce, and he keeps dropping the ball over and over. I've faded Jonathan Pierce in the last 3 fights with the Brito. We had obviously we had Onama against Jonathan Pierce. We had Pat Sabatini over Jonathan Pierce recently by submission, which was like plus 500. So we've been making money with the fading Jonathan Pierce, and Onama went out there, was able to reverse takedowns when he was getting taken on. He was able to out control Jonathan Pierce in the wrestling, which is pretty impressive. And I feel like in this matchup, man, even though Lucas Almeida has power on the feet, he's got power. He's a pretty capable striker. That's mostly what he does. He's gonna look to strike here. He's not really gonna be out there shooting takedowns in Onama, and even if he was, I don't think he's gonna have success shooting takedowns or trying to wrestle here. On the feet, man, like it's just levels ahead. I mean, when it comes to striking, Onama hits way harder. He's got knockout power. He can take you to the mat and submit you on the ground. Onama, if he doesn't like the striking, I feel like you can like take him down, submit him with an arm triangle or something like that. But I'm gonna go with knockout. I think Onama's gonna knock him out. I think Onama is gonna find that knockout eventually. I'm gonna say like a first or second on TKO. I'm gonna say first round TKO for Onama. I think he's gonna find that knockout. Maybe club and sub, so maybe taken by ITD. I know he's like minus 300 here, but he should be minus 300. Because the only fights that he's losing is he lost to Mason Jones. He should be fighting in the UFC. Let's be honest. Mason Jones should not be fighting in the Cage Warriors. He's probably on his way to the UFC soon because he's on a win streak right now. And he lost to Nate Train in an absolute barn burner. That was a crazy fight, man. You guys got to go back and watch that fight. I mean, he kind of gassed out in that one because he couldn't deal with the pressure and the durability of Nate Train. And Lucas Almeida, I mean, we've seen him get KO'd by Feely. I don't think Feely has a lot of KO power, and he was able to knock him out early. And if you can overwhelm Almeida, I think Onama's going to be able to knock him out early. I'm going to say first round TKO for... I think it's going to go under 1.5 rounds. I think Onama's going to really turn it up. And he's going to find the opening. He's going to be able to counter Almeida as he's coming in. So give me Onama. I think Onama has a good chin also. He's really tough. Never been finished also. He's not going to give up on himself. So I'm going to go with Onama by TKO. I think he's going to find the knockout. Next fight on the card, we got Oban Elliott taking Basil Hafez. This should be a fun matchup. I mean, Oban Elliott, this guy is one of the probably one of the toughest dudes out there when it comes to mixing it up with the wrestling on the feet. Also, I don't know, man. I faded an Elliott with the Preston Parsons. I bet Preston Parsons over him, and Preston Parsons just couldn't take him down or control him on the mat. I mean, I think they both had one takedown each. Oban Elliott was just able to strike him, land more volume on the feet. It was barely by 10 significant strikes, but it was still more than what Preston Parsons was landing out there. And even on Contender Series, man, I mean, on Contender Series, he was almost close. He was almost close to being KO'd in the second round. Then he was able to work his way back up and just mixing takedowns. The guy's really tough, man. He's not gonna go away anywhere. Even if you're beating him early, he's gonna just come back, find a way to win. He's been KO'd 2 times before, so durability could be questionable on his side just a bit. But recently, I feel like man, this guy's really putting it all together. And is he gonna be able to wrestle Hafez? I'm not sure. This one's definitely a tricky fight to be really confident in because I feel like Hafez can probably take him down also. Is he gonna be able to out-control him? I'm not sure about that. Hafez, I feel like he's got more knockout power on the feet. I'm gonna go with Hafez. I don't know, man. Oban Elliott's really good. I mean, he's 26 years old, so he's only gonna get better. But I feel like Hafez can make this a brawl, man. Hafez, even though I don't really like his striking defense that much, he's pretty hittable on the feet, and the cardio could be a problem maybe. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Hafez. I'm gonna take the Hafez as a dog here, plus 130. I think he's plus 130 right now. Give me Hafez to win by, I'll say like by decision. Could be really close, and maybe Open Elliott's able to do more, but I haven't seen Open Elliott throw a lot of volume out there. Like even in that last fight, he was able to throw like 45 significant strikes. I mean, like so it wasn't that much. And Hafez, he in his last fight he threw like 90 significant strikes. Man, the guy is like working constantly, like throwing volume. Even though it was against Mickey Gall, and Mickey Gall came back after like 2 year layoff. Maybe that has something to do with that. And he obviously took that fight against JD minutes short notice and looked pretty good. Almost won that fight. And JDM couldn't really put him away. So the guy's really tough. You know he's gonna go out there and fight all 3 rounds. I like the over out in this one. I think this one's gonna go over. I think this one's gonna go the distance. It's gonna be really close. I'm gonna take the underdog. Basil Hafez here as a dog. Next fight on the card, we got Mickey Gall taking on Brahimaj. Man, this one's like another tricky one because I think Mickey Gall's a lot better. And his record's obviously like 7-6. That looks really bad. I mean, you look at the record, you're like, this guy's gonna lose that fight for sure. But I don't know, man. I mean, Brahimaj, I'm not really impressed with Brahimaj. I was kind of shocked that you know what's crazy is the Grimbo was only -130 over Brahimaj. How crazy is that, right? People were really betting Brahimaj after like 2 year layoff. He looked terrible. I mean, he couldn't win a single round out there. He looked terrible in that fight against Grimbo, and Grimbo was able to wrestle him, and he's known for that BG. I mean, Brahim was the one that's known for BG, and he couldn't really like find a submission on Grimbo. And we have seen guys like Fletcher go out there, AJ Fletcher go out there and like submit Grimbo. It's not like it's never happened before, and he couldn't really do anything in that fight. Wasn't throwing any volume out there, couldn't really defend takedowns. This fight, Mickey Gall can wrestle, he can grapple also. And I'm going to go with Mickey Gall here, man. Mickey Gall, he's throwing more volume out there on the feet. He's scrappy. He's going to be pressuring forward. His looks like his chin recovered after that time off that he had, 2 years off that he came back after. And yeah, I know he's been KO'd by Mike Malott, I mean, but Mike Malott's definitely got power. Even though recently Mike Malott's not really going out there pulling the trigger like he normally was earlier in his early UFC run. Disappointing with Mike Malott, man. That McGhee fight really changed Mike Malott's game plan out there. He has a winner, Jordan Williams. I mean, he's 6-6 in the UFC, or like what, like 6-6 in the UFC, man. Like that's why his record looks so bad, because he's been fighting in the UFC. And Brahimaj, I mean, I'm just not high on Brahimaj, man. He's 2-3 in the UFC, like, and I'm just not impressed with Brahimaj. I don't think he's gonna get that submission from Mickey Gall. I think Mickey Gall is gonna be the better striker, and I think Mickey Gall is gonna be landing more volume. I'm gonna go with Mickey Gall. I wish he was underdog, man. So you wait and see till next week. You might be able to get plus money with Mickey Gall because that record looks so bad on paper. I'm gonna take Mickey Gall to go out there and like find a. I'm gonna say go the distance. They're both pretty tough and durable. I don't think Brahimaj is gonna go out there and knock him out. I don't see him knocking out Mickey Gall. He's got no knockouts either. Is he gonna submit Mickey Gall? I don't see that happening. I like the fight goes the distance, and I like Mickey Gall's side. I want to get plus money on him. I don't want to bet him at like -110. Even money against Brahimaj, even though I think he's the better fighter when it comes to striking on the feet. He's gonna be busier, and he's gonna be looking to land damage. I mean, so I'm gonna go Mickey Gall. I think he's gonna win this one. Next fight on the card, we got Jay Miller taking on Damon Jackson. This should be a fun matchup at a 155. Now, Jay Miller, he lost to Bobby Green, but Bobby Green is a pretty good striker, a really good boxer. I mean, before he went out there, knocked out Gabriel Benitez, we had him as a lock the week there. We got him at plus money there. Justy Butler knocked out Justy Butler, who actually like went down to bantamweight, fought Brad Katona. Just got out wrestled by 135 Brad Katona. And he got wrestled by Alexander Hernandez. I mean, so Hernandez was able to just out wrestle him for like all 3 rounds, and Jay Miller couldn't defend a single takedown out there. This one's gonna be tricky, man, because I do believe Damon Jackson has the better grappling, wrestling control, and submission game. Is he gonna submit Jay Miller? I don't think he's gonna submit him. Can he wrestle him? Can he backpack him? Can he control him? Yeah, I think he could out control Jay Miller. Now Jackson is kind of chinny on the feet. His durability is kind of questionable, but I mean, he should have that fight should have been stopped against Chip and Murzakanov. There was actually multiple 10 rounds in that fight. He just got Chip and Murzakanov. I think he would beat Jim Miller also at this point. That's not even a bad loss, and he got outworked by Billy Corntillo. He was like taking on Billy Corntillo, and he couldn't really keep it up. But later, Billy Corntillo was able to outstrike him because Billy Corntillo throws a ton of volume out there. Excuse me. And obviously Danny knocked him out there, and Tybura knocked him out. So the guys that have knocked him out are like pretty good. He was on a pretty good run. I mean, he knocked up Pat Sabatini with a flying knee in the first round. And Movlid Kabulayev, who's an absolute beast in P4, was able to knock him out in the first 10 seconds. Can Jim Miller knock him out? I feel like he could. Can Jim Miller get taken on and out controlled? I think he could. So like this one's you gotta pick your poison in this one. Damon Jackson, I mean, he's not really the most reliable guy. I'm not sure what the what the line is here. Okay, he's Damon Jackson's -115. That's kind of crazy. I thought he's gonna be underdog. I thought Damon Jackson was gonna be underdog because most Tapology people are picking Jim Miller. I'm gonna go with Damon Jackson. I'm gonna go with him. I think he can like mix and takedowns and backpack him, but it's so tricky with Jackson though, like, cause you know he can get knocked out at any point. He got dropped by Hernandez also, so even though that should have been 29-28. Because I think that was a 29-28 decision for Damon Jackson. Because he was able to take him down, go control him. Then he got dropped in like the third round. So that's the tricky part. And also Jay Miller has pretty good BJJ, so he's got to be careful with trying to like shoot desperate takedowns on Jay Miller. But I am gonna pick Damon Jackson I'll pick him by decision. Next fight on the card, we got Jonathan Martinez taking on Marcus McGhee. Really good matchup, man, at bantamweight here. Marcus McGhee getting a huge step up in competition here. Jonathan Martinez coming off that disappointing performance against Jose Aldo, where he just kind of froze. Just really didn't know what to do because Jose Aldo wasn't trying to fight him at range. He was actually closing distance on him. And that's what you gotta do, man. That's what you gotta do. You gotta close distance on this guy. You can't just be at kicking range with this guy because Martinez has some of the best leg kicks out there, and he can just like chop away your legs. He can just chip away at your legs for like the entire fight if you just let him. I think Marcus McGhee is gonna be pressuring him. He's gonna be closing the distance, and he's gotta close the distance. You can't stay at range with the Martinez, and I think McGhee can do it, man. So this was gonna be like a huge step up for McGhee. He's going from fighting guys like Gus and Bolanos, who's really not good. JP Bays is shit, no chin. Journey Newson, who's not in the UFC anymore. I don't think JP Bays is in the UFC anymore. So like all these guys that he's fought, I mean, they're not in the UFC anymore, but he's going out there beating them, knocking them off. He's finishing them, and he's got power for sure. Is he gonna go out there and knock out Jonathan Martinez? I'm not sure, man, but I feel like he's gonna be able to do enough. He's gonna be able to do enough. He's gonna be able to land enough damage out there, and he's training over there at MMA Lab. With guys like Sean O'Malley. He's training over there with guys like Mario Batista. So they have the best bantamweights out there training at MMA Lab right now. And I think they're gonna be able to prepare him for this matchup against Martinez. I'm gonna go McGhee. I'm gonna take McGhee. I'll pick him by. Is he gonna knock him out? I'm not sure. I'll pick him by like a decision. If he goes out there and knocks Martinez, man, that's gonna be pretty impressive because Martinez has been out there with been in the cage with some of the best fighters at 135 outside the top 15. I mean, even Seidner Magomedov. I don't think he won that fight, but still, he was able to do enough, I guess, in some of the judges' scorecards. He was able to beat Vince Morales, who's not that horrible. Adrianis is pretty good. This one's going to tell us a lot because McGhee is 34 years old. He's almost 35 soon. So this one's going to tell us a lot about what kind of ceiling McGhee has in the UFC. Because this is by far the best guy that he's fighting in the UFC, 100%. Not even close. I mean, the guys that he's fought, they're not even close to the level that Martinez is out there fighting. Seidner Magomedov, I mean, he's really good. So is Jose Aldo. Next fight on the card, we got Mauricio Huffy taking on James Llontop. I'm gonna pick Huffy, obviously. Ruffy. He's gonna win this one, man. He's gonna. I don't know if he's gonna knock him out. I mean, I'm gonna pick him by knockout because I think he's capable of going out there knocking out James Llontop. He's also capable of submitting him. I feel like, even though we haven't really seen that side of Ruffy's game, I feel like he can go out there and like take him down and like take his back and like submit him because we've seen him do that. I mean, I know it wasn't a submission, but it was a ground and pound. But Raymond Magomed Ali was like outworking him, right? He was like one step ahead. I think maybe it was 1-1 heading into the third round, but it was a contender series. Raymond Magomed Ali is pretty good. He can wrestle, he can strike with you, and he kind of gassed out in that one. But Ruffy was there. He wasn't giving up on himself, even though he was losing the early exchanges. And he was able to like take him down, backpack him, and just let some crazy ground and pound go, and he was able to get him out of there, right? So I'm gonna pick Huffy by I'll say he gets him out of there by TKO or like submission. I think he's gonna be able to finish him. I mean, submission is probably gonna be good plus money, right? I mean, I could see him getting a submission on James because James is pretty tough. He's never been KO'd, but he's never fought anyone like Mauricio Huffy, and he's taking his fighter short notice, by the way. So Huffy was supposed to fight Charlie Campbell in the spot, which is gonna be a better fight for him. This one should be a fun matchup also. Obviously, Llontop is on a 3-5 losing streak. He's doing the UFC a favor here, taking on this matchup because no one really wants to fight Mauricio Huffy in the UFC. No one wants to. Maybe there's few people in the top 15, but I mean, because he's not anywhere close to top 15, so I don't know. It probably doesn't make sense for a lot of people in the top 20 to fight Mauricio Huffy or top 25. Yeah, give me Mauricio Huffy. He's like minus 900. he's gonna win this one. I mean, Mauricio Huffy all day long. Under 2.5 rounds, fight doesn't go to this, nothing's gonna be good parlay piece. Next fight on the card, we got Nikita Krylov taking on Asma Murzakanov. Finally, man, Nikita Krylov is coming back after like some time off, right? No, he's gonna be coming back taking on Asma Murzakanov, who's a kickboxer mostly. Like, he doesn't really grapple. He's not gonna be out there shooting takedowns on you. And this is a typical grappler versus striker matchup here. And Nikita Krylov has fought everyone. I mean, he's fought everyone in light heavyweight. At one point, I think he was in the top 5 at one point. 11-7 in the UFC. He's fought Ryan Spann. He's fought Magomed Ankalaev, Paul Craig. He lost to Paul Craig. I mean, it's not even bad. I mean, Paul Craig can submit anyone any given day. It's not even that bad. And Paul Craig is also fighting on this card. He was able to go out there, beat Johnny Walker. He's fought Glover Teixeira to a close decision. John Blachowicz, a former champion. I mean, so he's got a lot of experience, man, in the UFC, and he's got that winner, Marcos or Dario de Lima by submission, who's fighting a heavyweight now. So he's got so much more experience here. But he's been dealing with some injuries, I think. That's why he hasn't been active that much. Yeah, he has some illness, so he's been dealing with some illness recently. Man, he's gonna be a lot longer. He's gonna be a lot bigger than Murzakanov, but Murzakanov hits like a truck. This guy's got crazy power. He's pretty athletic. I mean, he doesn't look like he's athletic, but the guy hits pretty hard. His cardio is questionable. I mean, so I'm kind of worried about that cardio a bit. Murzakanov, he's 14-0. He's a Russian. I mean, he's it's like the OV is calling my name, and Murzakanov is calling my name. But like watching tape on Murzakanov, like even that Jacoby fight, he was actually dropping Jacoby. He dropped Jacoby like 3 times. And Jacoby, like, he was so tired, man. He was like so tired in that third round. And Jacoby went out there, was trying to wrestle him for no reason. I guess he was scared of the power. He's only 5'10" at heavyweight. I mean, with the 71.5-inch reach. So Krylov's gonna have that reach advantage. He's got really good grappling. He can take you down. He's got really good backpacks, submission game. He's dangerous on the mat. He's also pretty dangerous on the feet. I just feel like Murzakanov is gonna be able to do this, and he's underdog. He's a pretty big underdog, and he's been underdog before to Justin Jacoby, and I picked him there, so I bet him there at like plus 200. So I'm gonna pick Murzakanov here. I think he can do this. I think he can get this one done. But this one's just gonna be a tricky fight, man. Because Krylov, if he starts getting takedowns on Murzakanov, this one can go sideways real quick for Murzakanov. He hasn't fought anyone that's gonna be looking to take him down. I mean, Defon Chukwu was actually like working him. He was actually beating him up before he got caught with the flying knee. So at least we know he's not gonna give up on himself. He can still knock you out in the third round. I think that was a third round TKO, right? That was actually a third round TKO. If not, yeah, that was a third round TKO. So the guy is clearly really dangerous. Like, so Krylov's gonna have to watch out for those knees as he's shooting those takedowns. Can Krylov go out there, take him down, and just submit him? Yeah, there's it's really real possibility that he can do that, but he's obviously fought the way better opposition. He's a lot bigger, a lot lankier. He's younger, and he's probably gonna have the better cardio here. I think he's got the better cardio because Murzakanov starts breathing pretty hard, man, after the first round. But he still finds a way to knock you out. I mean, even the second round against Manyfield. Manyfield's is kind of chinny though. So is Jacoby. I mean, Devin Clark obviously not with the UFC anymore. Defon Chukwu not with the UFC anymore. He recently fought in a cage for UFC. I think he fought Dacus in the cage for UFC recently. Got a win over Dacus. So let's see what Murzakanov ceiling is at light heavyweight. Because if he goes out there beats Nikita Krylov, I could see them making maybe Murzakanov versus Volkan Ozdemir. Because Krylov I think he already beat Volkan Ozdemir. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Murzakanov. He's a pretty big underdog right now, so plus 150. I want to see where the line goes. If it's like plus 180, plus 190, I'll probably like bet a 1 unit on him. Plus 150 is honestly not that bad either, but the cardio kind of worries me about Murzakanov, but I'm still gonna pick him as a dog here. If Krylov wasn't coming back after a layoff, I would pick him for sure. Next fight on the card, we got Chris Weidman taking on Eric Anders. Chris Weidman. I mean, this guy's Eric Anders better prepare for the eye pokes because Weidman's gonna be poking his eyes out. He's gonna be punching holes into Eric Anders' eyeballs. This is gonna be a fun matchup. Chris Weidman, All-American wrestler. Eric Anders also wrestles. Pretty good grappler. He competes in grappling all the time. Man, like this one's gonna be a tricky one. Like this one's definitely gonna be a tricky one. Chris Weidman went out there, beat Bruno Silva, who's mentally checked out from the game. He's not really there. Bruno Silva came out, put a story on his Instagram that he's been dealing with some mental health issues. Probably shouldn't be fighting UFC. I think he's gonna retire. He should probably retire because Bruno Silva is not even out there trying to fight anymore. He's just trying to collect. He's just going out there collecting paychecks at this point, right? In the UFC. So this one's gonna be tricky, man. Because Eric Anders, I think he's gonna be the more physical guy at this point in Weidman's career. Weidman has pretty good takedown defense. I mean, normally, his striking is okay. His durability is questionable. We've seen him get KO'd like 5 times or like 6 times. I mean, he's been KO'd 6 times at the UFC level. He's fought the better opposition. I mean, so we can maybe cut him a break. And Oliveira obviously was able to knock him out in the third round with a flying knee. I mean, that was crazy. That was in a McGregor card. Luke Rockholds was able to knock him out via ground and pound, take him down, ground and pound him. Can Weidman keep his standing and outstrike Eric Anders? Eric Anders he's got some striking, but I don't really like his striking that much. His takedown entries aren't all that great either. He got dropped by Jimmy Pickett in that first round. Like I don't know, man. This one's you gotta pick your poison here. I'm gonna go with the guy hasn't been KO'd 6 times yet. I mean, he's only been KO'd once. He's pretty durable. Only been subbed 1 time in like 16 UFC fights. He's gonna have to like take him down and hold him down, land ground and pound, and maybe like hurt Chris Weidman. I'm gonna go with Eric Anders to win. Your boy Eric Anders to win. But I'm not sure if I can get there at minus 180, man. He should be the side here. If he just keep it standing, throw some leg kicks out there, I think he can outwork Weidman. We've seen Brad Towards just go out there and like kick his legs off for like 3 rounds. He really wasn't even trying to knock him out. And yeah, he's obviously had that broken leg right against Uriah Hall I think he was trying to check a leg kick from Uriah Hall and he broke his leg. Came back and looked pretty horrible, then came back, fought Bruno Silva, who we know Bruno Silva shouldn't be fighting this shit anymore. He shouldn't be fighting MMA overall. Let's be honest, right? I'm gonna pick Eric Anders to go out there and just I know I say go out there. I mean that's one of my I just can't stop saying that. But anyways, I'm gonna go with Eric Anders to maybe find a knockout or like just beat him by decision. I think you can knock him out of your ground and pound if he really goes for the finish. The -180 numbers like should be closer, I feel like, because Weidman is a former champion, former UFC middleweight champion, and he was able to defend that belt a couple of times. Obviously not in his prime anymore. I think Eric Anders has more left in the tank at this point. Next fight on the card, guys. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you guys like these early breakdowns. We got Bo and Nickal taking on Paul Craig. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I was considering picking Paul Craig just for the memes. Is Bo and Nickal gonna go out there and wrestle Paul Craig? I feel like if he keeps it standing, he can knock him out on the feet, to be honest with you guys. I really do. Even though striking is pretty sloppy, he's got power, man. The guy's got power. We know these wrestlers, they hit pretty hard. They have the overhand right. They can knock you out with the overhand right. He knocked out Paul Woodburn. I mean, that is pretty impressive. That was up a weight class, right? Because Paul Woodburn, he fought Oben Elliott his next fight and looked better at 170. Paul Woodburn, to be fair. And he was able to, Bo Nickal was able to knock him out in the first round. I am gonna pick Bo Nickal here. Obviously, I'm not gonna pick Paul Craig. But yeah, Paul Craig is tricky, man. He's tricky to bet against because you never know with Paul Craig. You could be dominating Paul Craig, and like there's like 1 second to go, and he gets that like he gets that triangle, like he did against Magomed Ankalaev. And Bo Nickal hasn't really fought anyone with the level of BJJ Jiu-Jitsu like Paul Craig. He's so dangerous, man, off his back. I'm not gonna pick a BJJ nerd. I just can't pick a BJJ nerd. At least we picked Kaya Braholi to knock him out. I mean, that was a pretty good pick, right? The knockout was like plus 240, plus 250. And Brendan Allen was able to just beat him up. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go Bo Nickal by like this one could go the distance, man. It took him pretty long to finish Brandes. He couldn't really finish Brandes, I mean. So like it took him pretty long, man. So it's probably not gonna submit Paul Craig. Paul Craig, even though he's been subbed by Brandon Allen, I think he's got better BJJ than he's more high level BJJ than Bo Nickal. Obviously, Bo Nickal has a better wrestling than probably Brandon Allen if we're talking about just wrestling alone. He's got wins over Naked Tech or love Jamal Hill, where he broke Jamal Hill's arm, ripped it apart. Oh my god. Kennedy and Jetchiku, Magomed Ankalaev. Jesus, man. Maybe put a few dollars on Paul Craig by submission. I mean, if Bo Nickal wrestles and he wrestles recklessly, he's probably going to get caught up in a submission. I'm going to go with Bo Nickal. He's still in his prime. And Paul Craig's been taking a lot of damage. He got knocked out cold against Kaya Brawley, who's obviously a top 5 guy at this point, but still. Johnny Walker was able to knock him out because he wasn't letting his leg go. I mean, he's just holding on to his leg for dear life in that matchup there. I remember that one. I was like, what the hell is he doing? Why is he holding on to his leg? And he was eating some hammer fist from Johnny Walker. I'm gonna go with Bo Nickal by I'll say TKO. I think his striking is gonna get better. Because he can work on the striking, right? Whereas Paul Craig is already as good as he's ever going to be. If he wrestles, that's where he's going to run into trouble, I feel like. Even then, yeah, I feel like he's good enough to, like, avoid those submission attempts. But he's got to be careful, man. If you're hanging out in Paul Craig's guard. This guy has one of the best guard games out there. All right, guys, next fight on the card, we got Silva taking on Viviane Araujo. I'm picking Silva all day long, man. This one's like a lock of the century. Silva is better than Viviane Araujo anywhere this fight goes. Now, can Viviane Araujo get a takedown here and there, like wrestle her maybe here and there? Maybe she can get a takedown. I don't like her cardio. I don't think she has the cardio to fight at a high pace for 3 rounds. And I think on the feet, Silva is a much better striker. Viviani has some power. I mean, I keep calling her Viviana, but it's Viviani. Araujo. She's got some power. I mean, she's pretty durable. She's never been finished. I mean, so I guess yes, she's been finished once, but not in the UFC. She's never been finished in the UFC. That's what I meant to say. She's fought all the top girls. I mean, she's fought Natalia Silva, her last fight. She was pressuring forward in that fight. She beat Jennifer Maya, even though I think Jennifer Maya was able to outland her when it came to volume, but Viviani was able to mix in takedowns and just control her, right? Amanda Hebos was able to like drop her almost in the second round. She hurt her pretty bad. She lost to the former champion Alexa Grasso, who's obviously pretty good. I mean, even though she had a bad performance her last fight at UFC Noche. Montella de la Rosa win, that's pretty good. But yeah, I just think I was gonna say Natalia Silva because I always mix them up, even though they don't look anything alike. Krylov Silva, I think this is the UFC trying to build up Krylov Silva as the next contender at 125. And because she can wrestle, she has cardio. We've seen that her last fight, because that was a question, right? Like, can she go 3 rounds if she can't finish you in the first round? So before her last fight, it was all first round finishes. I mean, she had like 5 first round finishes in a row, or 4 first round finishes in a row. She finished Marina Moraz. That was a rematch because Marina Moraz was able to finish her by submission like a long time ago, like by like 2014. So she's been doing MMA for so long, man. She obviously went out there, beat Kelvin Souza, Kelvin Souza's got some power, man. She just knocked out Jasmine Hadagui. I mean, Kelvin Souza's no joke. She subbed her in the first round by a knee bar. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, I think Krylov Silva, not Natalia Silva. I think Krylov Silva is the real deal. I think she is good, and I think she's gonna win this fight, probably like at a high percentage. I think the line is justified. I think she's like minus 265. I mean, is it kind of wide? Maybe just a bit, but I think she's gonna be better than Viviani Araujo in the wrestling. She's gonna be able to out-control her. She's gonna be able to land more volume on the feet. Viviani's like, she's kind of loads up on her on striking just a bit. I mean, it's not really that technical. And I think Krylov Silva is gonna be able to mix and takedowns, maybe get a submission. Not sure if she's gonna submit Viviani Araujo. I just think she's gonna be able to do enough. I'm gonna pick her. Krylov Silva to win, but I'll say by decision. I think Viviani is really tough. If anyone's gonna finish Viviani, it's probably gonna be Krylov Silva. Probably not gonna knock her out. I mean, but Krylov Silva does have power. She's dropped girls before. I mean, on the feet. I think she was able to drop Marina Mirage, or like I think it was Marina Mirage. She was able to drop her on the feet. And she went out to beat Ariane Lipsky. She was able to just mix in takedowns every round. We got our plus 110 in that matchup there. I've done pretty well picking Lipsky fights. I mean, we picked Jasmine over her. We picked Krylov Silva plus money over her. We picked Lipsky to beat Susan Mister. We picked her like over Melissa Gatto. We picked her over Casey O'Neill. We have a pretty good read on Ariane Lipsky. And I was just happy to get plus money on Krylov Silva in that matchup there. I wish this line wasn't so crazy. I would parlay her right now if this was like anything under minus 180, minus 150. Because Viviani is really tough and she's durable, but I just think she's one of those girls that can get outworked on the feet. And she can get taken on. I mean, I could see her getting taken on. Hebus was able to take her down, control her, even though Hebus is a high-level BJJ practitioner. I think Krylov Silva just more physically stronger, and now we don't have to worry about her, like what happens with her cardio. Like, can she go 3 rounds if she needs to? We know she can go 3 rounds, no problem. Give me Krylov Silva to win. I'll say like submission or decision. I mean, maybe sprinkle the submission if it's like plus 500, because Viviani's never been sub before. There's always the first time for everything. I mean, in MMA, we've seen that recently with Max Holloway getting KO'd by Tybura. All right, guys. Next matchup on the card at 155, we got Charles II Bronx Oliveira taking on Michael Chandler. I mean, this is my favorite matchup on the card, 100%. Charles II Bronx Oliveira, guys. Let's go. Obviously, in the first fight, we've seen what happened in the first fight, right? Charles Oliveira was able to Michael Chandler was able to rock him in the first round, and then he got his back taken. Chandler, the thing about Chandler is that he's a good wrestler, right? He can like wrestle pretty well, but the cardio, he goes crazy in the first round. He's trying to knock your head off. He's trying to take your head off in that first round. But yeah, it's like he doesn't know how to manage his gas tank. I mean, he doesn't know how to manage his cardio. He can't like he doesn't know how to fight at a controlled pace for 3 rounds. And in that, like he was dominating Poirier, man. He was like, I mean, I wouldn't say dominating Poirier. Like let me take that back. But he was actually winning that fight over Poirier. He was beating up Poirier, mixing in takedowns on the feet. He was able to land shots on the feet, even though Poirier almost knocked him out in the first round. At the end of the first round, I had Poirier, and I was like sweating that one. I was like, Jesus, Poirier, what are you doing right now? Like, I bet Poirier pretty big in that spot. I got him like minus 180, I think, in Poirier. And that was his last fight. I mean, he was like, he should have probably won that fight if he just didn't gas out. Yeah, I got him like minus 190 in that spot in Poirier, and it was like, damn, bro, this is probably the worst bet I ever made. And then Poirier takes his back. Chandler is like trying to panic wrestle, and Poirier locks in that rear naked choke. And I could see something similar happening here because Chandler, I don't think he's really gonna learn from that matchup, and he's been away for so long now, 2-year layoff now. He's a high level athlete, so it's probably not going to impact him that much because he's training all the time. I mean, you look at this guy's Twitter, you look at his Instagram, he's training every day. Like, that's all he does all day long when he's not busy adopting kids in Africa. He's a good dude, man. Chandler's a pretty funny dude. He's a good dude. I mean, I know people have been flaming him for the fumble because he fumbled that Conor McGregor fight. He just it was crazy as Conor's now. He's probably I don't know. Is he ever gonna fight? I'm not sure if Conor's ever gonna fight. Maybe they can do Max Holloway versus Conor. I think that'd actually be a fun match. Maybe they could do that at catch weight. But yeah, we've seen Oliveira go out there and have a pretty close fight with Sarukian. I think that was the 29-28 for Sarukian. At first, I was leaning towards Oliveira. Then I did more research, and I was like, I'm gonna go with Sarukian in that matchup because Sarukian, I just think he's wrestle. He can wrestle. He's got a good enough chin on the feet. You're just not really not easy knocking out Sarukian. And he almost got him in a submission in that first round. That guillotine choke was so locked in, man. In that first round, it was like so close. I was like, holy shit! I mean, Jesus, man. Charles Oliveira is no joke. And if he has the same choke locked in on Chandler, he's finishing that submission. I think Chandler is the type of dude who would tap out pretty quick. I'm not saying he's gonna quit. He's a quitter or anything. I mean, Chandler is a pretty tough dude, and he can in the first round. I mean, he's live against anyone other, maybe other than Islam Makhachev. Like Chandler is really dangerous early, and you got to be careful early when you're trying to like fight him early, like in the first round, because he carries a lot of power. He's like explodes into those bombs that he throws in the first round. He does leave openings. I mean, we obviously left openings in that second round against Duke Bronx Oliveira. And the thing about Duke Bronx is like we know he's got a pretty good guard game, right? So even if you drop him, I mean, we have seen guys drop him. I mean, Sarukian wasn't able to drop him there. Makhachev was able to drop him. I mean, Makhachev was the only one that was willing to go into his guard because Makhachev has high level wrestling and sambo, and he was able to go into his guard after he dropped him with the overhand right, I think, or it was a right hook, I think, as he was coming in. And he was able to get that arm triangle off pretty quickly because Oliveira was kind of like stunned for a bit. And then that was Justin Gaethje. Obviously dropped him, and he wasn't willing to. Well, he wasn't willing to go into his guard. He wasn't trying to like engage with him in his guard. Right, Oliveira knows. People know how dangerous Oliveira is, so they're not willing to play that guard game with him. And Poirier obviously dropped him like multiple times, and he wasn't willing to go into his guard. And Oliveira was able to take down Poirier. And the second on, Poirier was like beating him up early. I mean, he was like rocking him with big hooks. So I could see Chandler like hurting him early, and then Duke Bronx is one of those guys not really easy to put away recently. Like recently, his durability's been really, really solid. The only guys that have finished him recently is Makhachev. I mean, Makhachev is one of the best finishers at 155. I think Makhachev is actually a better finisher than Khabib. Khabib is like a really good, probably the better wrestler than Makhachev when it comes to just pure wrestling and control. Whereas Makhachev has better BJJ and he's got better striking than Khabib. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Duke Bronx to find a submission, and I'm gonna say like a second on submission, but It's gonna be tough though. It's gonna be a tough first round though for Oliver, I feel like. But we know he's got nice knees. I mean, he's probably the better, more versatile striker in this matchup. I mean, he's got knees. He's gonna be like his output's crazy, man. I mean, dude, Bronx in that I feel like he was worried about the takedowns against Rukian. That's why he wasn't pulling the trigger out there as much as he normally is. When he's fighting strikers, like he's normally like just putting a crazy pace on you with those knees, those clinch knees, elbows, and he really digs those knees out there, man. Those deep kicks. I mean, his striking is really good. He's really come a long way recently in the recent like last 5 years, and I think he's gonna be able to break Chandler as they go into the later rounds. Now, this could be a first round finish. I mean, I could see Chandler like maybe dropping him and going to his guard, getting an arm triangle or arm bar. Chandler's pretty strong though, physically strong. So this should be a fun matchup. I mean, I'm happy that Oliveira went out there and fought recently. He's already had 2 fights in the last like 3 fights in the last 2 years, whereas Chandler has only fought once in the last 2.5 years. And I like seeing that from Oliveira. He's been active. He's younger. I like Oliveira here a lot. And he's like Oliveira is only like minus 240. Probably live betting Oliveira is probably the way to go because I feel like the first round's gonna be competitive because we know Oliveira is normally losing the first round and then he comes back and like he's able to just stay in there and win right later. So because doesn't have a lot of like first round finishes recently. He's normally like he finished Justin Gaethje in the first round, but normally his like other finishes are like later, right? He almost finished Tony Ferguson with the armbar. I mean, Tony Ferguson is so damn tough, man. He's so tough. But yeah, he finished Poirier in the third round. Finished Dariush in the first round though. Maybe he can finish Chandler in the first round. But I think it's gonna be like second on like last time their first fight. Alright guys, next fight on the card we got John Jones taking on Stipe Miocic. I know people are not happy with this matchup. I mean, and I can't say that I disagree. I mean, but I'm happy to see John Jones back. Should be a fun fight. Let's be honest. I mean, I know I've been watching MMA for a long time. I mean, over 10 years now, and I've been watching John Jones go out there and dominate at 205 for forever. I know he had some close fights against Thiago Santos. Bro, Thiago Santos actually hurt his leg in that match, but he still was pressuring forward, landing big hooks, and John Jones was able to use the championship experience and win the later rounds in that one. And then obviously Dominic Reyes probably should have beat him there. I'd score that fight for Dominic Reyes because Dominic Reyes was landing the better shots. He was actually, I think he dropped him at one point also with the straight right. Then he moved up to heavyweight. I mean, after like some time off, 2 years off, and he's still gone by first round submission. I don't know what kind of striking, like how fast it's gonna look at heavyweight, but normally these light heavyweights are better than heavyweights. I mean, let's be honest. We've seen that recently with this is a terrible example, but we've seen that recently with Brenton Habero and who was it? Brenton Habero versus Kyle Machado last week. I mean, they're just better, man. Even though like you could take the worst light heavyweight and still they could probably beat one of the better heavyweights out there because they're a lot quicker. They're more athletic, better skills. They have better skills, better cardio normally. Yeah, I'm obviously picking John Jones here. I'm not picking against John Jones here. I'm gonna pick John Jones. I think he's gonna win this one, guys. Can he go out there and finish him, Miocic? I think he's gonna finish him in the first round. I'm gonna say like a first round. I think this one, like Miocic, if he's really like preparing properly for this match, I mean, he could probably give John Jones a fight. But 4 years off, I mean, is a long time off, man. I mean, John Jones has been away for 2 years now, but at least he had a fight in the last 4 years. And he had an injury. I mean, these guys were supposed to fight each other back in November or last year. When Poitin was able to save that card. John Jones is 22-0, guys. I know he lost the fight to Dominic Reyes, but he's actually 22-0 officially. I mean, yeah, they should probably overturn that 12-6 elbows now that it's legal to throw 12-6 elbows. So I could see John Jones like just throwing 12-6 elbows in this matchup here. Now that it's legal. I think John Jones on the feet, he's got a better chin. He isn't taking damage as Miocic is taking. And Miocic is pretty durable though. I mean, he's got KO power, so John Jones got to be careful. But Stipe Miocic is not going to be able to wrestle him. I don't think he's going to be able to take down John Jones. John Jones has like 95% takedown defense. I think the only guy I've seen John Jones getting taken down by was Gustafsson. I think that's the only guy that's taken him down recently. Alexander Gustafsson was able to take him down because I don't think I don't think John Jones really expected Gustafsson. That was Gustafsson in his prime. And then, yeah, they fought like, bro, that Gustafsson fight was crazy too. But yeah, I'm gonna pick John Jones by TKO. Can you submit Miocic? I mean, I think he could. He could club and sub. I could see like a club and sub. But I'm gonna go John Jones by like, I'll say he goes out there, knocks him out. First round TKO, that's my pick in this one, guys. So let me know what you guys think about the predictions, the breakdown on this card. I'm making this video early in the morning. I was watching tape earlier last night. And let me know what you guys think, man. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with my predictions. And obviously, I'm picking John Jones in the main win by KO TKO. I'm picking Oliveira by submission, Silva by decision, Nickal by TKO, Eric Anders by like probably by TKO or like decision, Murzakanov by maybe by TKO or decision, Huffy by TKO or submission, Marcus McGhee by TKO or decision. I could see Marcus McGhee getting a club and sub also. Like he's if he hurts you, he can like lock in the submission. He can jump on your back and like get that submission off. Picking Damon Jackson by decision. Mickey Gall by decision. I'm picking Hafez on the scorecards. David Onama by TKO or submission. Veronica Hardy by decision, and Diniz by TKO. So that's my full card breakdown, guys. And I want to thank all the members for supporting the channel. I appreciate you guys' support as always. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you guys stay healthy out there, stay safe out there, guys. And thanks for watching, guys. Later.